Hello and welcome to the complaint channel. This is my first video for my channel and I hope it is helpful for many of you. Often you must have gone out for a trek or for a long walk up in the mountain and you have this big bulky video camera and you wish you have a smaller device which you can just carry in your pocket and which is good enough for you whatever video you're doing, and obviously your thought will go to a smartphone. Now smartphones these days are very capable, they're quite capable, well as not good as a dedicated video camera, but it does quite well for many purposes. Now I also had the same problem. I used to carry a big bulky handycam for video recording whenever I go for trekking or stuff like that, but then it's heavy, it's bulky, it takes lots of space, and if you put accessories then that's another thing. So I thought now this time I'm going to take my phone for video recording, and so I searched in the internet for the best app for video recording, and I found Filmic Pro as the most popular dedicated video recording apps both for iOS and Android device. So I bought Filmic Pro, and with the upgraded log and all those stuff, and then I was very happy to try it out, and I took it for my trek for recording videos. And suddenly I found out there was lots of problem. Maybe not lots of problem, but quite a few problems. Now this has to do with the device and not with Filmic Pro. One thing is the device which I'm using is Motorola One Power, which is not a very cheap one, but not a high end either. It's somewhere in the lower rung of the so to say a mid-range phone, and it comes with a Snapdragon 636 if I'm not mistaken. And the big problem here is with the audio. Now whenever there's a loud audio, then I think it's the auto gain system which is kicking in and then reducing the volume, but when it does a very sloppy job. And what happened is a lot of the frequency were lost, and you sound like as if you're entering a tunnel, and your sound suddenly start getting these weird kind of things like flowing rivers, flowing water sounds and all. It just sounds like it's just fading away instead of getting lower. So it's a huge problem. Now there's a Dolby audio here which comes with the phone. Even if I switch on and off, there's no difference. So this thing is affecting both the inbuilt camera app as well as Filmic Pro. I thought Filmic Pro would not be affected by this thing, but then no, it's not. I mean, it still affects Filmic Pro. Now I'm going to show you a small clip here. For example, see if you can hear audio started, I don't know, getting this weird effect. So, and it's really annoying, and sometimes even the voice also started acting like this. So it becomes a problem when you are recording an audio. We take a small device like this so that it will do most of the job without putting on all of the accessories. Now the thing is that if this is happening like this, we have to carry a dedicated audio recording device, or either you plug in a dedicated mic. Now when you put your phone on a gimbal and with a dedicated mic, the balance is not there, so often it's not very practical. So either you have to carry a dedicated mic. Now you're not going to do a full-blown production, but still then you need a good audio, and for that most of the time the audio from a phone should be clear enough at least for speech. Even on a cheap phone, it doesn't have this problem, but I don't know why. I've searched all over the setting to switch off the auto gain system, but no, it's not there in Motorola One Power, so that's a very weird thing. Now the other thing is, when you're using a phone like this, which is not expensive, not on the top of the line stuff, a lot of the function of Filmic Pro is not available. Now I send an email to Filmic Pro developer team, and we have an interaction to and fro in the email, and what they said was Motorola didn't open up a lot of the setting in the phone, so they cannot do anything about it. I don't know how much is that true, because Motorola One Power, it has that Google API camera too, which is activated, so I'm not sure about that, but anyway, that's the case. Now what happened is, if you're using a device like this, a cheaper one, you won't get the high frame rate videos. For example, this device, I mean my phone, supports only 24 frame, 25 and 30. It doesn't even support 50 or 60, forget about 120 and 240. Even on low resolution 720p, it doesn't support even 50 frame per second. I don't know why, which is very weird, because the inbuilt app can go beyond that, and a lot of the other camera apps can go beyond this. At least 50p, it's possible in other Android apps, I mean video apps, but it's not so in Filmic Pro. It could be that the video bit rate is higher on Filmic Pro, and if the frame rate goes higher, maybe the CPU cannot handle the load. I don't know, but that's my speculation. So that is one thing. No high frame rate if you're using a device like this. A typical sharpening of videos, it's still there in Filmic Pros. I think that sharpening, it's not by Filmic Pro, but whatever is inbuilt in the camera system of the phone, I think Filmic Pro cannot bypass it, because the footage out of Filmic Pro, it still has that over sharpening, weird looking, that's still there. Now the other thing is the dynamic range is very much dependent on the phone itself. So even if you install Filmic Pro, if your camera dynamic range is not so good, then you will still have that one. Filmic Pro doesn't help in the dynamic range. That's what I found. Now in a dedicated camera like a mirrorless camera or a DSLR, so often they update the firmware and you get a better pictures, little bit of an extra dynamic range and stuff like that. But here in this case, it's not like that, because I believe Filmic Pro is just an app on top of the operating system. So I don't think Filmic Pro can really integrate into the operating system, maybe because of that. So if your camera sensor has a limited dynamic range, it's still going to be like that with Filmic Pro. Maybe there's a little bit, maybe just, I don't think even a half stop, but maybe a quarter or a half stop better than the original, but you won't get a huge jump from the original dynamic range which you get with your camera. So those are the few things which you need to know if you are installing Filmic Pro on a cheaper device like this. But obviously I can buy a better phone and my Filmic Pro will be still available in my account. That's the only good things. Otherwise, on a cheaper device like this, I wouldn't recommend installing Filmic Pro. The inbuilt camera apps it's still okay compared with Filmic Pro. Well, Filmic Pro may give around 40% better features in terms of manual control and so on like that, But to buy the software, uh, it's not worth it. If you're using a high-end Samsung Galaxy series and stuff like that, or a Pixel, then it's worth it. Otherwise, for a cheaper device like this, it's not worth it. Maybe it's just because of my device, I don't know, but according to my experience, it's not worth it. So there you have it. I hope it's helpful to you, and thank you.